look at his ability to use that rod. Dear Lord. Oh, hey. It's been a minute. I've been on a long fishing trip for most of the month, and after seeing some other people fish, I decided that I should step in where your absent father didn't and teach you a thing or two about how to fish. How to fish. As we begin this journey of fishing enlightenment, we must begin with the fundamental, the rod. Now, rods have been fundamental in recreational fishing from the dawn of time. It's even been said that Jesus wielded an Akuma mid-weight boundary fishing rod. Now my pupil, it's an important skill to be able to distinguish between all of the rod types. The primary difference between the bait casting and spinning rod from one another is bait casting and spinning rod types. Bait casting and spinning rod, one of the main things is the fly rod. Didn't get any of that? Don't worry, I have a much simpler way to understand the types. I want you to think about the different rod types as different levels of desperation on Tinder. Let me show you an example. Our ultralight spin rods and certain deep sea equipment are on opposite ends of the spectrum, but both are used to catch extremely specific types of fish. You can think of this like trying to find a 5'5" Latino who never skips leg day and isn't afraid to crush your head and her thighs like a watermelon. Or, whatever you're into, like that's okay too, I guess. As you move to the center, the rods become more general. This is when the tender well is dry and you begin to adapt the if it can breathe, it can breed mentality. Now, fly rods, I'm putting them in their own category. They can be incredibly fun. Just be careful if it's your first time. You might send blood into the stratosphere. Now it's time to talk about bait. Bait can be incredibly important when it comes to catching fish. I would say the only exception is when you're in an area of under-pressured fish. These areas are like rural gay bars. They'll bite just about anything. Moving on, bait can be divided into roughly two categories, live and synthetic. Live bait is like the classic worm. It wiggles around for a little, then dies like a wimpy-ass bitch. If you feel some remorse watching it reel in pain as you force a hook through it, they also make a vast variety of synthetics. Terrible for the environment, but global warming is fake and invented by the government to steal our tax dollars. So, it's really your choice. It's like the difference between a one-night stand with NBA's Shaquille O'Neal or the 32-inch Dragon Smasher. But what type of bait should I use? Well, I'm glad you asked. Power bait, designed to catch trout, is neon and makes my stomach feel fuzzy. Crickets, grasshoppers, and other insects, which are good for bluegill, bream, and trout, are easy to get if you look under Super 8 pillows or if you don't shower for a while. Crustaceans like crayfish are really effective in freshwater. Just don't go putting Mr. Krabs into your human cloaca. Shrimp, which can be used in both freshwater and saltwater, are great as well, if you don't go snacking on them. Fish eggs, spawn, or roe are appealing to fish that feed on other fish. Think of it like when the gym mommy starts ovulating.
Mother, we must feed on the egg. No, that's okay. I'll clean your seat.
And then there's leeches, which are suitable for walleye, bass, and pike, and worms, which work well for a variety of fish species. Once you've actually dropped your bait and hook into the water, the real fun begins. You see what I did there? I swapped, reel with R-E-E-L, like the reel on a fish. It's not fun when I explain it. Now, the best place to cast largely depends on the type of fish you're looking for. This takes time and experience. Most of the time, my hook ends up in the back of my buddy's head. But hey, he is quite the catch. For any lucky ladies out there, here is his IP address, phone number, social security number, and his address. He likes bondage and leaves his doors unlocked at night. Good luck! Now, getting back on track, we wait, and wait, and wait, and wait. Occasionally, you can jig your rod to give the lifeless and tortured corpse on your hook a little life to encourage a bite. Oh look, here one comes. As the fish approaches your lure, it's gonna gulp down that bait faster than your tent mate gives you a sloppy toppy on the third night of the trip. Quickly, you have to set the hook. Give it a tug, pulling that fish into Valhalla like a fish rapture.
Whee!
Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. Joseph Fish was right. To the Great Salt Lake we must go. Your reel's gonna bend if the fish is big enough. But hey, we all know it doesn't feel good if it doesn't feel like it'll snap in half. Which can actually happen if you didn't know. Congrats! You caught a 5-inch smallmouth bass. It might not be the biggest, but it is your first. Don't be sad about the size, friends. We all know that size doesn't matter. Now, I know many of you are probably wondering how we can fillet this fish to eat. Well, don't worry. It's just like cutting up a dead hooker. And I know we all know how to do that. And now that you know how to fish, don't forget the old saying, city boys use fleshlights and country boys make do. Turn that smallmouth bass into a largemouth. Or let it go, if you're weird like that.